Imagine walking down the street and all of a sudden you completely lose your hearing. About 60 years ago, that was Barbara Chertok's reality. SNN's Hallie Pilot shows us why Chertok is someone on the Suncoast you should know.
Barbara Chertok was just 21 and walking back to work from lunch when out of nowhere her balance went out.
I was helped back to the office, lie down, and they had to help me home. And then my left ear was completely gone.
Then the right started to go, and before she knew it, her hearing was completely gone. She ended up in the hospital for 3 weeks, not knowing that would only be the beginning.
They never did figure out what the cause was. So when I went in, I couldn't hear, and when I left the hospital, I couldn't hear.
The doctor told her her hearing would come back sometime in the next 2 months, but it never did. But Chertok wasn't going to let that stop her from living her life.
So how was I communicating? I was reading everybody's lips. Fortunately, I was an instant lip reader.
She did have to leave her advertising job because she couldn't hear on the phone. But that led to her meeting Benson T. Chertok, her husband-to-be.
It was a blind date, or maybe it was really a deaf date. But he couldn't even call me on the phone to make a date because I couldn't hear on the phone. So what did he do? He called my mother.
They had 2 children, and it wasn't until she was 56 that Barbara finally got her diagnosis from a doctor at Johns Hopkins when she was looking into a cochlear implant.
It was actually an autoimmune disease called Cogan's syndrome.
She ended up getting that implant in 1997 and will never forget that first time she heard since 1957.
The audiologist starts talking, and then, you realize you're hearing something, and there's not a dry eye in the room.
Since that fateful day in 1957, Barbara would go on to use her hearing loss to help others. She taught lip reading and wrote articles in Hearing Loss magazine, now known as Hearing Life. She got a second cochlear implant in 2008, and with help from technology,
your call may be recorded and monitored to ensure high-quality service.
And her 2 implants is living her own hearing life.
Oh my goodness, oh, they're miracle devices, absolutely miracle devices.
What a great lady. Cogan's syndrome is still present today, but if diagnosed quickly, can be mostly treated with a steroid. Chertok also started cochlear implant support groups here and in Boca Raton, and that one still exists today. Well, still ahead, it's your health, and the measles is getting closer to the Suncoast. Coming up, we're going to have a report from Pinellas County. Stay with us.